Hey y'all, it's Madam Chaps, actually filming from work, like a naughty little thing, but I am here by myself right now, and since I didn't have time to make another video this week from home, I thought, well, I'll get one out of the way. There's one phrase that I've used for quite some time that's always been sort of my favorite, and it's thank Bob, not God. And the premise to this little phrase that I have is that if you were, having to call the fire department because your house is on fire and you've got your animals, or heaven forbid, your loved ones stuck in that fire, Bob the fireman will go in there and rescue your loved ones or your pets. And I think too often when Bob the fireman would bring that loved one or that pet out, the person goes up there and hugs them and says, thank God. No, don't thank God. Thank Bob. Bob just risked his ass to go in there and get your loved one. And I think it speaks to a huge distance that people put between themselves and the responsibility of humans with God. That good or bad, things get chalked up to God. Like he, she, it, or they had anything to do with it. Even, and again, good or bad. Somebody does something terrible. Well, that person didn't have enough God in their life. Or even worse, that somebody does something wonderful and says, I did it for the glory of God, or God spoke to me. That's a premise too. So God speaks to you, right? And either society says, well, God spoke to them and they did something terrible, they're crazy, or God spoke to you and you did something wonderful, and that makes God wonderful. It still makes you a person who thinks they hear things, which is bad. But I think as a society, it is pretty anti-progressive and apparently borderline psychotic to one, think you hear things, and two, to literally take no responsibility for yourself. A society who understands that human beings as a species have every bit of wonderful capability to be either glorious or terrible is something that I think should be kept in mind. That it's not some deity's fault or grace that makes us do anything. You don't know what that deity's thinking, so why give them the glory? Or why blame them for things? And I see it all the time. I saw a customer I had, in here, say something bad about somebody else and then accidentally stubbed their toe, and it was an instant, oh, I must be getting punished. They literally put their hands up and said, I'm sorry for what I said, and it's like, you stubbed your toe because you weren't paying attention, okay? You talked about somebody who I don't know, so I don't care. Why? Why chalk up that responsibility? If you actually felt guilty for saying something bad, then feel guilty for a second. Go, I shouldn't have said that, but nobody got hurt, so meh. But no, they thought God came down and made them stub their toe for saying something bad. And that kind of thinking, I think, is just a bit mad. And I know that's coming from me, the girl with the crazy eyes, but I think human beings should really learn how to take responsibility for the glorious or terrible things that they do. And to put God in between you and your responsibility, I feel is pretty silly. So yeah, what are your thoughts? Did I make any sense? Do you agree? Yeah, keep it in mind. But thank Bob, the fireman, and not God, because Bob did all the work. Okay guys, see you later. Bye.